How's it? Welcome back to the channel. So, circling back around to the topic of meditation, a question I'll get relatively often is like, what do I get out of my meditation practice? But, kind of similar to like even with lucid dreaming, it's hard to pinpoint like real concrete examples of like, my meditation practice has helped me with this, my lucid dreaming practice has helped me with that, because a lot of it is kind of like abstract and not that concrete. Or like one of the things that I think my waking life meditation practice helps me with, as it relates to lucid dreaming at least, is when I'm really consistent with my waking life practice, I seem to have a higher hit rate and more frequent lucid dreams. But I've never really done anything to really test it. I mean, I guess I could, but even if I did, there's so many factors that go into having lucid dreams that, for whatever span of time that I was doing that experiment, it's hard to say that, I either had more or less lucid dreams because of my meditation practice, right? But when it comes to meditation, there was something I noticed last night that I think is a bit more of a concrete example of how your meditation practice can help you. So like, I was in a good mood, I just finished playing a whole bunch of Call of Duty where I was specifically trying to focus on getting better at sniping because I suck at that. But I was having a lot of fun with it. Had some really good games, had a bunch of not so good games. But either way, it was still a lot of fun, So I finished for the night. I even like pushed my sleep back kind of far because I was enjoying it so much. So I'm finally getting ready to go to sleep. I go to go take a quick shower before hopping into bed. And then as I'm doing that, still in this really good mood, this irritating thought creeps into my mind and I start feeling irritated. I start not feeling that good. And I didn't realize it when that thought came up. But then like after a minute or so of going down that train of thought, then I realized what was happening, with like a meditator's perspective, realized that I was caught in that way of thinking. And then it gave me the opportunity to do the very meditative thing, right, of dropping it. And, when I dropped it, it worked really well. And what I noticed is like once I dropped it, it was gone from my mind so much that it was like I completely forgot about it, right? So it reminded me of like when you're, say like you're having a conversation with somebody and then, something happens nearby and it momentarily distracts you, or even maybe you're like mid-sentence sometimes, right? Happens to me at least. And you completely forget what you were talking about. So it was kind of like that sort of feeling where I knew if I went back and searched for it, I would easily be able to find whatever thought was just irritating me, right? But, I chose not to do that. And then, of course, like right now, I can think back and I do remember what thought it was that was irritating me. But kind of similar to that, I'm not really giving that, any gas. And I'm actually wrapped up in doing something else right now, which works really well at, keeping your mind off of, other things when you're focused on doing something. But, so I think that was a pretty, concrete example of how lucid dreaming, how meditation can help your waking life practice. Now, of course, even if you don't meditate, I'm sure you'll realize moments like that just throughout your life normally. But I think if you meditate more often, that will increase the chances of you catching those moments when you're going down these, thought paths that you don't want to go down. So it gives you an opportunity to hop off and, say, even because that's kind of abstract too. I think it would help you notice those moments more often. But like, even if it doesn't like up the frequency of those happening, just when it does happen and you can notice in the moment when you consciously decide to, hey, I'm going down this negative thought path. I want to decide to drop it and focus on something else. Just being mindful enough and realizing of that, that's a very meditative thing to do, right? And just to realize that you can have that potential off path to go ahead and stop thinking about that, right? And focus on some other train of thought can obviously be very beneficial. So that's one of the benefits I found to my own personal meditation practice. And yeah, that'll wrap it up. Until the next video, keep your meditation practice legit.